Welcome, Climate Viewers. It's Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News, and it's Worldwide Wednesday, and we're going to talk about ClimateViewer 3D. If you haven't ever checked it out, it's on ClimateViewer.org, which is the home of ClimateViewer maps. A passion project for more than a decade, containing over 600 maps you're not going to find pretty much anywhere. And I'd like to give you like a test drive of it, give you an idea of it, and hopefully get some of your input. What features would you like to see come to ClimateViewer 3D, to ClimateViewer Maps? I'm going to be moving this entire website over to ClimateViewer.com. It will be at maps.climateviewer.com in the near future. So I'm upgrading the whole software, and I'd love to get your input. But let's take a peek at it over here, and as you can see, I am in the dead sexy Brave browser. If you're not using Brave, you should give it a try. This isn't a sponsored thing. It's just a, hey man, you should stay private on the internet. It makes it really easy. Don't give all your data to Google. Enough said about that. So anyway, Brave browser comes with AdBlock Plus already built in, so I don't even have to install the extension. And I use PCmatic, which is the world's greatest anti-malware. And the only thing that I would suggest, if you're going to use ClimateViewer 3D, especially because ClimateViewer 3D is going to be connecting to so many different services around the world, because I fetch data live. I'm going to make sure that you stay private while you're connecting to the USGS or NASA or any of these other live services that are provided on ClimateViewer 3D. So make sure that you have a VPN, a virtual private network. You can go to expressvpn.com/climateviewer, get a VPN, and what this will do is mask your IP address so that whenever you're browsing this information, whenever you're downloading all of these maps and monitoring your world from the actual government sources that they're using, they cannot tell who you are, they cannot tell where you're from, and that will keep you private. So keep that in mind. Just a disclaimer, I want everybody to understand this is my open source map. All of the maps that I have created that are on it are open source, and I want people to understand that anything that are in these live sections at the top, which is alerts and weather, let me blow this up real big for you guys. Alerts and weather, and then satellite images. Anything in these two categories, there's 92 in the alerts and weather and 316 maps in the satellite section. All of those come straight from government entities or private corporations or universities. So whenever you load these maps, you will be loading data directly from them. They will be able to monitor that traffic. Having a virtual private network is essential for protecting your privacy. If you don't care about that sort of thing, hey, have at it. You don't need a VPN. Just go click away. But a lot of people are getting more and more privacy conscious. So full disclosure. That being said, how do you actually work this thing? Because, it looks pretty complicated on the surface, but it's really not. So I've got a little example up here on the screen of some, just live information that you could pull up. And what I have is currently, you can see active maps at the top, the Noaa ocean buoys, and the USGS all earthquakes for today. And why would I have the two open at the same time? Well, you might want to know if there's a tsunami going on. So if there's an earthquake, a large earthquake, say like this one right here, we can see that there was a 4.9 in Mexico. And then right off the coast, what you can do is you can go to this buoy, which is an ocean buoy. It's floating on the ocean, and it'll give you the wave heights, and you can actually see the heights of the waves right here. And that's how the idea behind ClimateViewer 3D is to tie as many different information data points to connect the dots so that you can see how things are related. And that's just a good example. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to clear all the maps off, and we're going to start from scratch. And as you can see, currently there are 639 maps available on ClimateViewer 3D. So to start out, when you first come to this page, I'm just going to refresh the page. When you come to the front page of ClimateViewer maps, you'll see that, you know, we have a whole bunch of different stuff here. Latest maps like the Five Eyes Stone Ghost Surveillance Network, U.S. measles outbreak by country, HARP and the ionospheric heaters worldwide, radio telescopes and space communications worldwide. All this stuff, you know, pretty darn cool. Missile defense radars, Star Wars Strategic Defense Initiative, and the Space Fence. You know, just really cool stuff. Lasers and directed energy weapons. 50 years of the United Nations tracking weather modification projects, 1952 to 1999. And Candida auris, the medical facility nightmare. Independent and unaffiliated registered voters by state. Lots of different things, different categories of maps. Many of you probably already know this, but I design all my own websites. I do all my own graphics. So this entire website's going to get a workover, of course. But for now, ClimateViewer 3D is the place to view all of the maps simultaneously. So whenever you come to this list, you can see, like say this, the Five Eyes Stone Ghost Network, you can click on it and it will take you to a web page, which is just dedicated to that map. And it will give you a list of all of the facilities that are currently on the map, like Joint Defense Facility at Pine Gap. If I click that, it's going to fly you straight there. And if I click the icon, you can see that there's a mini web page right here. Let me get my face out the way. And you can actually see the photographs and all of that sort of stuff that I've, you know, embedded in there with all the information on the facility. So each map has its own page dedicated to it, and then information about it, like this. What are the Five Eyes? I mean, most people have never even heard of it. Well, they're right here. They're referred to as FVEY in the Edward Snowden documentation. And then there's the ACGU, which is the Four Eyes, the Big Four. So that's Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, UK. That's the Five Eyes. Then there's NATO. Then there's an even bigger circle and a bigger circle. And all these people are sharing information. They are tracking everything you do. And that's why I find this a very important map, which has got me a personal interview with an NSA agent on my beach vacation. But nonetheless, it's still out here. Vince, awesome on getting that VPN, man. How are you liking it? Let me know in the chat there, because I've been using ExpressVPN for over probably 5-6 years now. It is the fastest out there to boot. Like, I mean, you can literally game on a VPN. That's amazing to me. So that being said, every single map on here, you know, every location, you can fly around to them. You can see them from the satellite view, or you can come down here and click combine this map with any other map on ClimateViewer 3D. And if you just click that link, it's going to now bring that same map up in ClimateViewer 3D, already in the satellite view. Now let's back up a little bit. So we're going to close that out and we're going to come back to ClimateViewer 3D. So this is what it looks like when you default come to it. YouTube hates Brave. Is that any surprise? Is that any surprise? Well, Google uses something called Google Tag Manager, and a lot of websites use Google Tag Manager. And as a result, if somebody implements Google Tag Manager into their website and you block it with AdBlock Plus or Ghostery or any or you know what's built in, AdBlock Plus is built into the Brave browser, it will actually break the website. The website will not function because in the JavaScript, when they write the website, they actually say, you know, and I had it previously just so that I could see which maps people were clicking on until I did, you know, had a growing disgust for all things Google and decided that, I don't even need to know. I'd rather not know than have Google literally tracking by the second everything you click on my website. And I went to this route of creating a web page for each map, so they at least get indexed, because before, everything in ClimateViewer 3D, there was no way for any of the search engines to even find these maps. Regardless, enough about the nerdery. When you first come to the website, it's going to be on this map. It's here for a reason, because if you go to the Bing satellite view, if I go over a certain number of views on this satellite image map, they will ban me, or they will ask me to start paying money for it. And honestly, I can't afford it. So one day in the future, we can upgrade to something like a paid version of the satellite view. There are even companies out there with real-time satellite video that is hourly. I would love to get to that point in the future. It's going to take a whole lot of patrons to do that. But, for now, we're going to make it work with what we've got that's open source and still give you the availability of bringing up the Bing satellite. So if you click over here in the corner, top corner, it says base map. And you can see that right here, base map. If you click on that, that changes the bottom map, the underlying map. One of my personal favorites is dark matter. Also, I like this one because it gives me a good viewing surface for like when I'm looking at data. So let's do an example of that. I'm going to go to alerts. I'm going to go to air quality. I want to see what the air quality today is. Well, that wouldn't show up very well on a satellite view or on a white background. So when I go to dark matter, suddenly these pop out very well for me. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Green is good. If I click on that, you can see that the air quality in Bishop, California is good. The ozone, the PM particulate matter 10, and the PM 2.5. That's 2.5 microns. Good, all the way down. But then you look right down here and you can see in Antelope Valley, California, ozone unhealthy for sensitive groups 101, PM 2.5 is moderate, and PM 10 moderate as well. So whenever you see yellow, you got some bad air, and whenever you see orange or red, you got some really bad air, like over in St. Louis, Missouri, where they have particulate matter 10 unhealthy, ozone's moderate, and PM 2.5 is good. So it's a good way of quickly checking, I feel like I'm having trouble breathing today. Am I crazy? Well, I checked the air quality index for today, and you know what? Guess what? I'm not crazy. And I also like to tie this together with, say, like checking for smoke, fires. So if I'm looking at fires and volcanoes, I can actually bring up the fire maps, and then I can bring up the satellite and see the fires themselves. And I have many different sources for this information, of course. But let's just do fire detection, USAN. This is from Hawaii. Let's see, the BIIRS. I'm gonna come up here real quick, turn off the air quality index as soon as this loads up. Now, some of these maps are really freaking big. And by really freaking big, I mean really freaking big. So they could take a while to load. Saying that it's already loaded successfully. I'm actually checking in my dev tools, but I'm not getting an image. So we'll just go ahead and say that's possibly dead. I'm not sure. Dead links happen all the time. If their servers go down, I can't really control that. Anything in the live section is subject to availability of the government. So active volcano eruptions this week. Let's click that. That worked instantaneously. So you can actually see which volcanoes erupted this week. And you can actually click on that and get all the information on it, when it happened, where it happened, all of that sort of thing. I wonder why none of the NASA fire detection's not coming up. That's kind of weird. I'm not getting any of them. Let me try a different source. All right, so let's go with the Modus. Does that one work? Any one of these with a red icon right here, very large map, that's a red warning flag. So those don't want to come up. Let's bring up this one right here. This is the Noaa hazard mapping system. It's a backup. Let's see if that one works. And there you go. That one popped up. So now we have all of the fires that are currently going on. And as you can see, that's a lot of damn fire. Is this from? No, that is the VIRS. It took that long to load. Wow. Their servers are crap and super slow. But what you can do with this now is you can come over here to the satellite view. We're going to just close this up. Just click on the actual title right here, and you can click on this title and close it down. Or if, say, you have all of this open, you can just hit collapse menus right here at the bottom, and bam, the whole thing folds up. Pretty neat. All right, so let's bring the chat in on this. Hey, what's up, chat? Food plant fire map. Probably at this point. Yeah, they're burning up all of the food plants because they don't want us to have food nor gas. They're trying to destroy all the things. But you wouldn't know this unless you could monitor your world, and that's the whole point of ClimateViewer 3D. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over to the satellite section, and I'm going to go to NASA Visual. And there are many different bands on here. We're going to go with corrected reflectance, true color. The true color section, these are the ones that, you know, are closest to what you actually see in person, you know, like what your eyeball would normally see. And what the hell is that? All right, so what we're going to do is actually go to the very top, and some of these will have these little bars right here. And as you can see, there's like a little, you know, set of switches. If you click that, you can actually click the date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's click it over to today, nothing. What's up with their satellites? They're being absolutely stupid. Everything is having a fail day. The government does not want this transmission to go through properly. Good on ya. Or no, their servers are just running super damn it slow. All right, so let's go back. Let's see, have they gotten to us today? Yes, they have. And we'll come over here and zoom down and see if it's actually going to fill it in. All of the government servers are running super freaking slow today. I'm running 1 gigabyte per second out of my house on fiber optics, and it's still taking this long to load. You saw that just now. Come on, you can do it. Oh, look at that. Kim Crap. Kim Crapola. Barely loading. Barely loading. Doesn't want to load. It's actually really mad because I have the fire map up too, more than likely. So let's try this. I'm going to turn the fire off for now. Okay, and let's see if it gets any better. Nothing? No? You're going to behave? I'm on a live stream here. Noaa and NASA, get your shit together. Get your feces consolidated. Behaving badly. Behaving so badly. We'll have to work on that. We'll have to, what I would like to do is just proxy the data and go ahead and download it. And that way I just go ahead and rip it from them, put it on my server, and then serve it to you from my server. And then you don't even need a VPN or any of that kind of concern. That'd be pretty damn dope. But we'll have to look into caching issues. And maybe we can get there. The whole point of this exercise was to show that if there is a large fire, that you could then come in and look at the satellite imagery for the day and actually see where the smoke is going in what direction, and correlate that with the air quality index, things like that. But of course, there are always going to be issues. Look at this stupid thing. There's a block right here. It still hasn't loaded because their servers are so freaking slow right now. Come on, you can do it. There you go. You can no. And he's in. Look at those wavy, gravy clouds. Fun stuff. Anyway, this thing's not going to behave clearly, so let's give a different example. Let's see what we can find over here under rain and snow, and we're going to go to and see if the U.S. drought monitor is working today. Is it? Yes, it is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to, I'm going to close this up, and we're going to close this up, and I'm going to go to my maps, which always work, which aren't live maps. And we're going to go to energy and pollution, and we're going to go to the big ass fracking map, which is Fracking America Chemical Database. So we're going to give this just a second to load. Oh, that was super fast. Even though it's a huge map, it's coming from my server, and I'm not censored by the government yet on my own damn server, which is beautiful. And then lastly, we're going to do this. We're going to go to atmospheric sensor, geoengineering and weather modification projects. Now, if I go and I load up the NOAA reported weather modification activities from 2004 through 2012, what you're gonna see is suddenly pretty darn clear to the average viewer. Where there is drought, there is drilling. Do you see, aside from this patch right here, where all the earthquakes occur, aside from that, do you see much fracking, out here? Of course, they've got all the lakes and everything to keep the water flowing over here, but pretty much where you see drilling, you see drought. And where you see drilling and drought, you see weather modification projects. This was one of the first aha moments I had with ClimateViewer 3D. It is eye-opening to say the least. And I want to know what kind of correlations you've been able to find, what kind of maps you'd like to see added to ClimateViewer 3D. What kind of features would you like added? So let's give an example real quick of the final ways that you can use this. So now that I have this, I can actually come in here and I can bring up the satellite view if I like, and I can, let's get rid of all these other ones that we're not using. Boom, boom, boom. Just hit the X button right here underneath. You can either turn them back on by hitting the eyeball to make them visible, or, hit the X to close them out, or hit the info tab right here, which will take you over to the page that tells you what the hell you're looking at. And it'll tell you NOAA reported weather modification activities. The Google Fusion table's been deleted. Thank you, Google, for that, pricks. And the actual reports they were drawn from, so you can see those yourself. All data always provided, all time, air day. If you don't have sources and you got somebody blowing smoke up your ass, it's not really that helpful. I mean, honestly. But as you can see here, things like Salt Lake City International Airport at Barkin International was paid for by Delta Airlines to do fog suppression, weather modification. And these are all of the government reported weather modification reports in the United States. Fancy, fancy, fancy. So now I've got my map together. I want to share this with a friend. You know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Apparently I closed out the drought monitor. I want to keep that in there. But you can actually come in here and look at these. Before we put the drought monitor back up, I'm going to just show you very quickly. This is what fracking hell looks like. This is what drilling hell looks like. Now, I want you to recognize that in this map, you can clearly see I'm only covering a fraction of the actual drilling pads. Look as far as the eye can see as I tilt it over, that each one of these squares you see is a different drilling pad. And see how many of them actually have markers. Now, the number of markers is upwards of, close to 700,000 in this map. And it would literally break the computer and blow up your screen if you were to try to actually mark all of these, but if you look at them, they'll tell you, State, Texas, Ector, Occidental, oil and gas, type oil. These are all oil wells here. But you can see just miles and miles and miles and miles of drilling. Can you imagine living anywhere near this? So this is one of the reasons why we have such a problem. And you can just see all of the dots. We're talking miles and miles, hundreds of miles just covered in drilling sites with, storage tanks in the center of them, drilling well right there. You can come in on the satellite and actually see them. Pretty crazy stuff. So that's what I have mapped. And in reality, just there is practically more than what you're seeing in just the dots. So now I want to share this with a friend. You know what I mean? I want somebody else to see what I'm seeing. In fact, I want them to just focus on this area right here. Okay. And I can actually share the screen exactly the way it is right here by clicking map list and coming down here underneath all the maps. There's a section that says options and instructions. You can get your instructions here. It'll take you to a video. You can make it a flat earth if you don't like this round one, because it's just, really setting you off. I mean, I don't want people to get triggered. So if you don't like a round globe, you can hit flat earth and it'll flatten it right out. I'm loath to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to click the flat earth button, and then we're going to wait for it to reload. It's going to redraw everything on a flat world for you. They have to jump from over here over to where they belong. Because it takes some time. Okay. There's some math involved, but regardless, they'll slowly fill in the map here and they'll all jump to where they belong. And suddenly the world is flat again. Everybody's happy. Flat for some of you, round for some of you. I like to make you happy. Thank you very much. So we still got the weather modification projects up and all of the drilling and fracking wells. And I want to share this with somebody, but I don't want to share it on a flat globe. I just wanted to show you that, Jim is trolling. These are facts, and you know me too well. By the way, for those who don't know in chat, Ann made me this. Is that cool or what? Ann knows that I am born in the year of the dragon. So spray can Ann in chat. I still keep it right here on my desk every single day. So awesome. Born in the year of the dragon. Got my ClimateViewer logo here and a big round. It just spins. It spins. Look at it spin. So nice. Thank you, Ann. Never going to forget it. So we're going to go back to a round globe because, I'm getting nauseous just thinking about this. But regardless, I want to share it with somebody else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this section I want to share. We're going to pick this section right here. Okay. This is what you should see when all is said and done. And I'm going to email this to somebody else. So I can go to map list. I can come over here to the bottom and I can click share. And it's going to give me two links. One's a big long one. And then it also gives you a short URL for some of those websites that really hate using real long URLs. Chat. Okay, enough with the flat earth stuff. Y'all are going to get me on a tangent for real. So I'm going to copy this and I'm actually going to just right click it, hit go to. And what's going to happen is it's going to load the map. It's going to load all of the map files and put it exactly back the way it was. It is auto magical. So thank you very much. Thank you to the people. This is your way of being able to make a very complex data set of different maps that you've connected the dots with and then share it with somebody else. So if you actually go up here to the top of Brave browser, you can see that it says layers on equals fracking USA, comma, Noaa WX mod 2004. WX mod means weather modification in military acronyms. WX is weather, mod You get it? WX mod. So these are all of the layer IDs for all of the maps that you have open. And then at the end, it should say, and base layer equals Bing aerial with the actual location, 90 west, 113 north, all that stuff. So it shows where you were viewing, what maps you're reviewing, and the base map that you have underneath it. So if I were to have changed that to toner or any of these other ones, even some of the pretty ones that are just, cool to look at, like watercolor. Ooh, isn't that pretty? It's a watercolor painted world. It would share that as well. So that's one of the cool features of ClimateViewer 3D is the ability to actually go and share everything that you have on your screen exactly as you're viewing it with other people. And then the only other feature that I'm really going to go over with right now, of course, there is a timeline which can be used for some of the maps. I could give an example of that right now, but it's a live map and it probably will blow up. But what the hell? We're gambling people, right? So we'll just clear that out real quick. We'll go to satellite images. We'll go Sims Mimic, and we'll bring up some of this microwave imagery. Let's see what happens when I do it. You never know. It may be working today. It may not. But regardless, it looks like it's going to work. Let's see. Is it going to work? It did load successfully. Now will the images load? Pause. This is the problem when doing this, a based map. This is a very base. It's not secretly based. It's openly, outwardly, utterly based. Not working. Big fail there. Knew it was going to happen. Knew it. Called it. These, I'm going to go through and get new sources for a lot of this stuff because at the end of the day, a lot of these are not getting updated as they should. But as you can see here, this one looks like it's working. It's just not. There we go. Yes. So some of these have like a timeline at the bottom, and they'll bring up multiple images that you can then scroll through. I don't know why the Mimic stuff's not working right now. Probably some shady shit going on. That's my guess, but you never know. The Mimic does not want to work. Boo-hoo on Mimic. So anyway, let's collapse that and just get out of here. In addition to the stuff that's currently on, you can actually turn the sunlight on and see that, like where the sun is currently. I have a Earth monitor for everything that's not available on ClimateViewer 3D because I could not, find a map source that I could put in there. I wanted to have additional ways for you to monitor the world. And as you can see here, wrong button. These are, allow pop-ups on this page if you're going to do it, because otherwise you might not be able to see it. But alerts and disasters like the RSO EDIS, disaster alert from Pacific Disaster Center, GDAX, Global Disaster Alert Coordination System. List just goes on and on. Health map, fire map, earthquake tracking from Earthquake 3D to IRIS to the National Buoy Center. Climate change stuff from AeroNet, the Aerosol Robotic Network, to flight tracking, radar box, flight aware, flight radar 24, pollution, air index. This one's really good. Let's take a look at that real quick. And this one's the same thing as the air quality. I actually had this on ClimateViewer 3D at one time, but then they put the Ixnay on the ClimateViewer Zay, and they really didn't want me to see that. But everything was looking pretty peachy keen in America, but then you go and you look at this thing and you're like, wait a damn minute, this is not good. Some of these poor guys like this down in Chile, we're talking super unhealthy. And then you go over here to China and oh my God, it's like the whole damn country is yellow and orange with some of these at the extreme hazardous conditions. Now you wouldn't be able to find this, anywhere else in one spot, let alone. But light pollution, noise pollution, power plant maps, all that sort of stuff. Radio frequency monitoring like web SDRs, live VLF radio, VLF data viewer for finding these signals that come from these ELF, VLF, and ionospheric heaters around the world. And on the other side here, satellite imagery from the GO 16, 17s, the Himawari 8, satellite tracking like stuff in space, ship tracking, so you can track all those ship tracks, where these boats are currently, the integrated space weather application system from NASA, Space Weather Prediction Center from Noaa, HelioViewer, the list goes on, and then many different weather maps from Venture Sky, Wind Map, NOAA Now Coast, College of DuPage links, all of that stuff right here, and most of which you can actually just click on and they will pop up right here on the screen for you so that you can see them right in the website without even leaving the website. Some of them don't work that way, so they're going to pop up in a new window because web programmers can deny the ability to put a thing in an iframe. So that's a thing. But most of these are going to work directly, from the browser. You'll be able to just go to them and see them. I'm not going to bring that up right now. That's a huge freaking website. But marine traffic, being able to just go there and see all of the current ships that are at sea. What in the F is going on with this? I swear to God, man. It's you and me right now, and I want to tell you something. Whenever you do a live stream, people they always just screw it up. That's why I don't make very many ClimateViewer 3D stuff live with the live information, because you never know what's going to work at any given time. And that's why the saying for today is, I used to be a people person, then people ruined it. And people program these things, and my seat has slowly been thinking this entire episode. So I hope you guys will go over to ClimateViewer 3D, give it a try on different browsers, all that sort of thing, and tell me what's working, what's not working, what you'd like to see added, what features suck, what interface changes you'd like to see made. If you're a programmer and you want to get in on this thing, hit me up at jim@climateviewer.com. I could use all the help I can get. I am a self-taught programmer who does HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and GoHugo, a couple other things. But everything I've taught myself since I started on YouTube. And I made these websites to be able to show all of this stuff that I've learned. I've created most of these maps. Some, like the NSA map, that map by itself took 3 months to make. I would love to get your input on it. There will be changes coming to it. In the next Worldwide Wednesday we do, I'm going to go in depth on a particular map, something probably from our history and science section, so that we can kind of look at some of the cooler maps that we have, like the 2,650 nuclear explosions, maybe Chernobyl, throw that in there, some of the meltdowns we've had, and do, different topics that we have on the map and show you those in detail. But that being said, go to climateviewer.org, give it a test drive. Let me know in the comments on this video, or send me an email directly, jim@climateviewer.com. Tell me what you think. And of course, as always, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I don't know why you haven't. Please subscribe. It's real easy. And you can always support my work by going to connect.climateviewer.com. Connect.climateviewer.com will link you to all of my websites, all of my things. And that way you can find all of my social media, that sort of thing. all the things all right there, one spot. ClimateViewer.com, weathermodificationhistory.com, and ClimateViewer.org, which is the maps, which will eventually get moved right over to here. And then I'll be down to just 2 websites. Support my work on Patreon or PayPal. New merch coming very soon. I've got 5 new shirt designs that are going to be coming out. And I think you're really going to like them. They've been highly requested. So we're going to be getting those rolled out. And all of my other social media for you to get in touch with me. Hit me up directly or watch my videos, sans the Google trolls, on Odyssey, BitChute, and Rumble. And finally, if you do want that ExpressVPN and you forgot the link, it's expressvpn.climateviewer. You can come to connect.climateviewer.com and just click the link at the bottom. It'll take you right there. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of me running my mouth, this Southern guy. Off the tip of the brain, freestyling it, failing miserably with the maps. But thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you everybody who supported me. Please use this information and share it, because sharing is caring. To attack ideas, not people. Love you, mean it. Video resonates with you, leave me a comment, because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.